Folks, so in this video, I'm going to put in the Thermalright LGA 1700 CPU bracket. And of course, the most unfortunate part of this is we have to uninstall our CPU cooler to get to it. So that part's kind of a bummer. So this is the Noctua NH-U14S Plus, we'll call it, because it doesn't come from the factory with dual fans. I just happen to have an extra one from the black version, Chromax black. I'm not even sure how I have that, why I have that fan. I think somebody I knew, actually, now I think about it, somebody I knew couldn't fit that fan in their computer. So they ended up giving it to me, and I'm using it. So we're going to clean this up real quick. So odds are this is going to have to come out too, or at least partially out. I think we'll loosen this one up. And this is my Gaming X motherboard. And we'll go ahead and take the rest of the RAM out just to be safe. So this motherboard, these two RAM slots don't work. If you happen to buy a used motherboard off of eBay and you have problems with it, it's a lot of stuff you might have to do troubleshooting wise before some of those motherboards will actually work. There's a lot of people that say, oh yeah, this motherboard's in perfect shape, it's never been used before, and then the actual truth is there's problems with the motherboard. Alright, so I think that is out of the way enough. I think this is a Torx screwdriver. Not pulling out my kit, I can tell you which one to be exact. So we would look at the instructions. Yeah, I don't have my M.2 screws in either. So this looks like it's going to come out pretty easy. Now when you're putting this in later, probably best to go around and loosen these. So we do have our CPU in here. You know, folks, we should potentially take our CPU out. So we're going to do that, but before we put the bracket back in, we'll put the CPU back in. Now, of course, we do have the instructions. What do the instructions say, folks? That looks like it just tells you how to put it in. Yeah, well, how you take it out is on you, I guess. So, first thing I'd say, this little gizmo kind of sucks. It'd be nicer if it was bigger. Now, if you were smart, folks, cover this up. Have your put your CPU cover back there. There is the potential of damaging the socket. Matter of fact, I hate to make a video where I don't do that, right? Okay. So, could have left the CPU in. What I don't like is the way this thing's springing around like it is, moving around. If you have a CPU in there, I don't know what to tell you. It may not. It may move around on you. All right, so I put that cover on. It's like, well, do we really need to take it off at this point? So we have to get these screws out. I'll move that over. And that actually popped out pretty easy. But it does not take much to damage the pins in that socket. Alright, so that's what our thing looks like out of here. There's our 4 screws. Now, this is the triangle that you would line up on your CPU. It goes down here, okay, like that. So you put your CPU back in. There's a little triangle right here, or reading from left to right. This is the I5-13600kf. Make sure this is on the left side if you're reading from left to right. But that said, this can go in an only way. You also see these cutouts. They're not the same distance apart. There's no way for me to put this in like that. It has to go in this way, okay? If you're looking at the motherboard in this orientation. Now, gently put this in. You can use 2 hands if you want. Now, for our bracket, which should just fit right over top of that, and it does. This looks like easy day kind of stuff, folks. Like, if you needed a video to watch this, you better not ever do your own oil change, right? I'm just kidding. No, those directions are so bad. I reached out to Thermalright because I do like their CPU coolers, and I'm hoping, you know, they'll drop me some free CPU coolers, right? Everybody likes free shit. But, you know, helps me out for the sake of making videos. Now, what we don't want is the CPU to move around at all. We don't want to over tighten one corner versus the other sides. And this, I will tell you folks, this screwdriver they've included really sucks. Now, I will say also that they probably made this thing so small, like they have, that you can't over torque this thing. I mean, now, have you seen my bench press videos? You know I could over torque this, but question is, the thing about this is, you obviously want these to be laid out with a very similar torque, because this is pressing down. We want the frame to keep the CPU nice and straight, I guess, right? And I guess that's really what we're doing here. This frame is helping support the CPU. Now, I'd be curious, and maybe it'd be worth a video on the Celeron in a crappy, you know what, that's a good idea for video. I really don't care for my Celeron anymore, but in a video to see if I can over torque this thing and destroy it. Break the motherboard. I do have a motherboard that I don't care about anymore. So just kind of going, you know, not going overboard, but it's definitely tight. And now some of you may question, hey, why didn't this guy do this with his i7-13700K? Well, folks, first thing I'm going to do, well, maybe not the first thing. Next thing I'm going to do with the i7-13700K is install this massive Ice Giant Pro Siphon Elite motherboard. That potentially may be that may get our temps down quite a bit all on its own, right? So if it does, then there is really, folks, no point in using this thing. I say that there's a good chance the Ice Giant would be better off with that frame, because that thing is so friggin' massive. And plus the guy that's sending me the kit, he told me, yeah, you might want to buy one of those Thermalright kits. All right, so we got a Noctua cooler. Why not use our Noctua paste, right? And I tell you, I was concerned about getting an i9-13900K after the heat I've been dealing with so far with the i7-13700K. The I5-13600K seems manageable, but that said, it's still pretty hot. Alright, so putting the CPU cooler back in. Now you notice I didn't completely detach the CPU fans because didn't really need to, right? They're still plugged in. I missed what I was supposed to tighten that side down with. I think I've missed both sides so far. Alright, there's one side. You'd think I've probably installed and uninstalled this 20 times now. And I actually have two NH-U14Ss. And then D14, D15. NH-U12S, the Redux one, bunch of different Noctuas. It's definitely my favorite brand. That said, the Frost Commander, Thermalright Frost Commander, performed very similar to my D15. So we put that back on, and putting this one down low. I think we need to drop the other side a little bit. But folks, that is basically all for this video. Thanks for checking out the video. Please like, please subscribe.